Mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it.
But a kiss can be even deadlier if you mean it.
I don't know about you, but my kisses have not been known to be deadly. I don't know what kind of kisses they're doing in this movie, but don't eat mistletoe though. I've heard rumors of people dying. It is bad. Welcome everyone to a holiday episode of FYC Film Review. I'm your host Gagne, along with Rinaldo. How you
What's
doing,
up,
buddy?
man? I'm doing all right. December, here we go, holiday, and get things started with this movie. So not doing bad. How you
This
doing?
movie, I'm doing well. Excellent shirt, sir. I'm sad to say that I don't have a Batman logo anything. I used to as a kid, man. I rocked Batman stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that with the Tim Burton 1989 Batman a little bit. But we chose the holiday Batman, the Batman Returns of 1992.
Yeah, we sure did. We went with the 1992 Batman Returns, and it's funny because when you told me about this movie or you mentioned it, and you said Christmas movie, I thought, you know what, a Christmas movie. But after rewatching it again, it is a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas holiday movie. The theming around is Christmas, and it is a true Christmas movie. So I'm glad we went with this. It's not your obvious movie, so I'm really happy we went with it. So it's Batman Returns, and it's starring Michael Keaton, who I personally love. That's my favorite Batman. A fantastic Danny DeVito, and the best Catwoman, I think, in my opinion, Michelle Pfeiffer. So.
Can't argue with any of those, and I would agree. So I'm interested to hear, when's the last time you watched this movie? Do you remember?
I don't remember last time I saw it, but I remember not liking it as much as the original 1989 Batman. Okay. So what I did before this watch, I went back and watched the 1989 Batman.
Very nice.
And then I watched this. Yeah.
I'll allow your critiques then, because I didn't watch the 1989 Batman, and it's been a while, and I've seen the movie enough that I honestly feel like not much of it would be lost on me. But
yeah,
all in all, I think this one for me is special because I like what he did to incorporate so many different characters and a darker feel for Batman than I think the original one did.
I think this movie is a more polished movie than the 1989 version. However, for me, I think there were too many things going on in this movie where it got kind of messy, where the original one was just Joker versus Batman, and that's it. So I'm still a fan of the original. I like that one better. But after rewatching this, there's a lot of points I want to talk about, and I actually enjoyed it.
I'm going to say that I'm a fan of this one over the original.
Wow.
It's not that I don't enjoy it, but for me, the original is Jack Nicholson and the Joker, and not much else other than our first silver screen Batman, which Michael Keaton's amazing. So I mean,
He's the best.
Yeah, but there's things about the original. We're going to focus on Batman Returns, so I won't even get into my issues with the 89 Batman. But
okay.
I think that's why I enjoy this one a little bit more, and I do watch this pretty frequently.
You do?
Yeah, a couple years ago, did a Christmas holiday bracket with the wife and put this on there, and she's like, Batman, like Christmas movie?
That's what I thought too.
I know. And I had to make sure she understood.
Did she like it?
She didn't watch it with me. So.
Okay. All right.
It's a superhero movie, and it's a cheesier Batman than we've been, I guess, accustomed to over the last 15 years. So
yeah, it is, but it did really well in the theater in 1992. It was, I think, the fifth or sixth highest grossing movie 1992. And it was the first movie to use Dolby Digital.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a fun fact number one right there. I did not know that.
Fun fact number one, first movie to use Dolby Digital. There you go. Right off the bat.
So what do you want to jump into first? The first note I made was I did not realize that Pee-wee played his dad, Penguin's dad.
That's on my notes. It's Pee-wee Herman.
I was blown away. Like I've seen this movie so many times, and it was not until this time that I caught that. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, Tim Burton used him in his I think it was his first movie that he directed was Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which is a great movie. So to see Pee-wee Herman as his dad, it was kind of neat. It's a nice little callback.
I wish they would have gotten maybe a little bit more scenes, but I think, like to your point, there's a lot going on in this movie.
I really like the intro. I thought the intro was very dark. It's very creepy. You know, you have this family who has this mutated child, and they don't want him, and they throw him over the bridge. And I thought, wow, it was much better opening than the original Batman. I thought it's a much darker movie to it, much darker and much sexualized also, which we can get into. A lot of notes on that.
I do have a lot of notes about that too. I can't. I'd be remiss if we didn't mention Danny Elfman, who just doubles down on the score. I love his Batman theme. I love what he does with Burton, and you just know the minute the music starts that this is Danny Elfman.
Yeah. I mean, if without Danny Elfman's score, this movie is not what it is, or the other Batman. It makes the movie. You know, you got to give credit to that. Like I've said before, music and score. If you have a great score, the movie's gonna be it's gonna be really good. Yeah. So kudos to Danny Elfman and Tim Burton. They knew their style. Their style back in the 80s and early 90s was magic. They could do no wrong.
I'm gonna throw you out fun fact number 2, because again, we've already mentioned that this movie there's a lot going on to it and almost too much going on. At one time, the script had Robin written in, and do you know who was cast as Robin?
I don't know.
Marlon Wayans.
Marlon Wayans?
For a fact, Marlon Wayans. So much so that he got paid for the movie, even though they cut it, because he came in and tested and wore a costume and everything. And then they were like, there's just too much going on in this movie. We need to cut stuff. And they cut Robin out. To have a sidekick just wouldn't be it. It would have felt weird. In an already weird movie.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't include a Robin in both those movies. They didn't need it.
Yeah,
I didn't need it.
Agreed.
I really, really liked Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie. I really liked her. I thought she was a great cast. I liked her transformation, where what's his name, Max Shrek pushed her out of the building. She falls like 20 stories and she lands on her back and she's okay. And then all the cats start circling around her and start biting her, and she just kind of wakes up like a zombie. And I don't know. I liked that scene. I thought that was a great scene. I liked it. I don't know. I liked it. And she goes back to her apartment and she starts, feeding or drinking milk and all that stuff. She starts going crazy. And which, by the way, do cats really drink milk?
I thought it was bad for them.
That's what I thought too.
Like I think I've read that like they're not supposed they like it, of course, but they're not supposed to drink it. Like dairy is not meant for cats to be drinking.
But we grew up with that idea that cats like milk, right?
I don't know where that came from. We're gonna have to do the research.
Yeah, if you're a cat lover out there, let us know if cats should drink milk, because I thought it was bad, but obviously it's not. I don't know.
I don't know where it comes from either. It seems funny now to see it, because I can't remember the last time I saw a cat drinking milk from a saucer, because it's not supposed to probably happen. But I was going to ask you about the transformation. Okay, so again, this is a comic book movie. You got to suspend reality, but at the same time, I want to understand the thought process. So you're a screenwriter and you write this. Okay, she gets pushed out of the building, and she falls, and you kind of, her fall gets broken, and that explains why she didn't go splat on a sidewalk. But she's unconscious, and then these cats all start showing up, and they kind of start nibbling on her finger and like licking her mouth, and it's just like, am I supposed to believe that like she was injected with like cat DNA when the cats were biting her? That like what happened? Like what Pet Cemetery moment happened where she wakes back up as a zombie and becomes Catwoman? Because I do like it. Like I like how it was done, but like what was it? Like what happened?
I don't know. I just know that they bit her, they surrounded her, and they overwhelmed her, and maybe somehow they injected her with some cat DNA. And she loved cats so much, though. She loved cats, and that's what came to her. That's what kind of came to her rescue, right? I mean, she was mistreated by Max, and she was very awkward. And when she went home before all this happened, her life sucked. So the only thing she really relied on were her cat, right? So I think maybe in that sense, that's what kind of saved her, was her love for cats. But to your point, what are we supposed to believe? That she got injected with cat DNA? Sure, why not?
And Annette Bening was supposed to be, so here's another fun fact, was supposed to be Catwoman, but she got pregnant and Michelle Pfeiffer got it. And I'm so thankful for that. I just can't see Annette Bening in this. And I've never really loved her as an actress, but Michelle Pfeiffer nails this so well. And that scene where she becomes Catwoman, just, you know, where she's trashing her place and
good scene.
You know, the score behind it, and, you know, the amazing seamstress talent that she's got, because
she's good.
Wow, that's super impressive.
Going back to your point, Annette Bening, for those who don't know who Annette Bening is, she's the mother in American Beauty. I'm not sure what else she's done, but I agree. She's even better than Anne Hathaway. I just really liked Michelle Pfeiffer in this. She was perfect. She played it to the T, and I really like to see.
Perfect.
Okay. And did you see her sign? Her sign at her apartment, it said "Hello there," and then when she broke the 2 letters, it said "Hell here." So it's really cool.
I love her character. I think she's even better than Penguin, and Danny DeVito is amazing as this. But again, you know, they really try to make this super grotesque. I don't really understand why he has the green goo coming out of his mouth. Like, it's just, like, is it from the toxic waste? Like, that, it just one of those interesting choices where you're like, okay, well, how do we make him even more grotesque? Because, you know, it's not bad enough that he's wearing this weird bodysuit and these sharp teeth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was so gross that his parents didn't even want him, right? I mean, it's sad. It's really sad. There's a point where I felt bad for him. There's a point where you really feel bad for him. But I don't know. I don't think penguins have black ooze coming out of their mouth, right?
No, they're adorable. They would never make Happy Feet if they had that happen.
Are they adorable? Are penguins adorable? Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
I mean, even when they've got rockets strapped to their back, I thought they were cute. I was like, oh, look at them.
That's one of my issues with penguins.
Okay. Well, we can get to that. So before that, I definitely want to touch on the point that you just made about the like over sexualized tones of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's like just the penguin is like, I've never been with a woman before.
Yeah,
and you know, Catwoman makes sense. She's, you know, purring and stuff. It's like it came to that like boiling head when they Penguin and Catwoman have their interaction together on the bed,
right?
And all that's just like back and forth where you're like, this is weird.
Yeah, and we didn't get that as kids, right? I mean, I don't remember all this as a kid, and so it probably flew all over our heads. And there was a scene where, kind of towards the end, where they're dancing at that party. He goes, "Is it hard?" Or and she goes, "Oh, it's semi-hard." And I thought, wow, it's getting to this point where it's kind of scattered through all the film, and it's not needed. I don't think it's needed. And here's another fun fact. Fun fact number 4. Because this movie was very dark and very sexualized, there was a point when this movie came out, McDonald's had the Happy Meals centered around Batman Returns, and parents were so pissed off that they boycotted, and they wrote to the film or the studios and McDonald's, and they pulled everything from the shelves because it was so sexualized. And you know, they were like, this should be made for kids, and this is why we get Batman Forever and Batman and Robin become so, like you said, cheesy and for kids with all their toys. So yeah, that's very sexualized.
Yeah, and that's why Tim Burton didn't come back. He got full creative control on this one versus Batman. He made it what he wanted to make it, and he was unapologetic about it. And then Warner Brothers realized that they couldn't sell any merchandise. You know, you lose a company like McDonald's who is going to pay you. I mean, I can't imagine what that deal would have been worth, but you know, you don't change suits. You added a couple extra characters, but you know what? There's not much new merchandise you can really sell to this. And I think it's hilarious that people talked about how dark BVS and Man of Steel and what were like. This was the first like foray into that, and this was so dark, and people loved it. And then they didn't love when it got all campy because Warner's wanted to sell toys. Before we go past the bedroom scene, fun fact 5, we've just got so many this time.
Number 5. Here we go.
the bird that she puts in her mouth is a real bird. She holds that bird in her mouth and then releases it to the camera.
No.
That's a real bird.
No.
Yep. No CGI back then, man. That was a real bird she put in her mouth.
I don't have any. I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say about
commitment
that.
to character. I would have read that and been like, no.
I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not putting a bird in my mouth. You get the bird flu.
I'm grossly underpaid. You paid Michael Keaton 3 times what I got.
Yeah, I saw that she only got paid like $2 million or
$3
million, and he got paid like $11 million for the movie.
Yeah.
So
she got some back end work.
She got treated just like Selena Kyle did. You know, she did.
Yeah.
She got treated just like Selena. You know, so it's very it's a man's world, and she got treated very bad. So I understand why she wanted to go after Max Shrek. But it's still, you know, is she a bad guy? Is she a good guy? Or is she just a tortured soul who's trying to figure out what she is?
That's, I think, always been Catwoman's plot, is that she's kind of in between, you know, she's the anti-hero. She's not good or bad. She's just for herself and for trying to do right by herself and what she wants. And so if it means to help somebody, great. If it means to hurt somebody, great. Like, and she's got no qualms about doing either. So the thing that I was kind of shocked about with this movie is Batman kills people in this movie.
But he kills people in this other one too, in the first one.
No, did he?
Yeah, he did. He's trying to kill the Joker. He's flying in his Batwing, and he's got his target, and he just happens to miss him. But when in the end, he's killing this dude, he like puts him in a headlock, and then he flings him over the bell tower, and he falls to his death. He kills the Joker, man.
Well, the Joker fell. I mean,
the Joker did not fall. Batman killed the Joker by tying that stone around his ankle.
he fell.
Whatever. Batman Returns. We're not talking about the original Batman.
I didn't bring it up. I thought that I don't remember him killing people in the first movie, but this was obviously right in your face in the very beginning, where he just basically straps dynamite on a clown and kicks him into the sewer.
I like that
for him
scene.
to explode.
Yeah, I like that scene. I liked his facial expression, the way Michael Keaton smiles. I love Michael Keaton. That guy's the best. Beetlejuice, Batman, he's the best. Yeah,
I agree.
He's great.
I agree.
Yeah.
Birdman, you can go all night. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mr. Mom, Multiplicity. He's good. He's really good in this. I read somewhere that he actually had them take out more lines of his. Like he wanted less talking and more just being Batman. And you know, wanted the action to kind of speak for itself. And I just think that's, I mean, for some guy who's a lead, like I think that's huge. Like just
because he's badass, man. So one of the okay, so I don't know if you noticed this, but Batman comes on the screen right away. Like in 10 minutes, he comes on the screen and he saves Selena Kyle. But then we don't really see Batman for like another hour. I feel like it takes forever to see Batman again. You see him patrolling the streets for like maybe a minute, but then we don't really get like the full Batman until maybe like 50 minutes later. So I understand that they're trying to build up the story with Penguin and Catwoman, but I just thought it took too long. I'm like, where's Batman? I need Batman.
That's the struggle when you have multiple characters, especially ones that you're trying to tell a like complete arc for.
Right.
You have too much time cut away from where's Batman. And I think it's longer than 10 minutes in the beginning. Like I was starting to go like, fuck, like when does he show up? Like it takes a minute. It feels like it takes a minute, especially with the prolonged like opening credits of, you know, what happens to Oswald. So I agree there. And I've read some critique on this, you know, because I wanted to get some balance. You know, for most people, I think this one's like a favorite of theirs. Like people really, really like it. Like they like what Burton did with it. But some of the critique was that like, is this a Batman movie or is this Catwoman and Penguin movie? Because there's a lot of them and not as much of Batman.
And that's where it gets messy for me.
Yeah,
that's where it gets messy for me, right? You're building a story, and the story gets built up pretty good. I thought, you know, both Penguin and Catwoman get their stories told pretty well, but it takes away from Batman. And to be honest with you, I'm here to see Batman, and it just took forever to see Batman. So
Yeah, I guess you got to make the movie longer and put more Batman in. I don't know.
it's already long enough for me. It's already long.
No way,
enough
man! Come on.
No, it's already long enough for me. But because it's a long movie, there are some pretty bad lines in this movie. So
It's time. I think
It
it's
is
time
time.
for the worst line of the film.
yes. So worst line nominee. I'm gonna let you go first this time, my friend.
Okay, so this is a scene I actually really enjoy because they did something with the Batmobile that they didn't in the first one. But when Danny DeVito takes control of the Batmobile,
Yes.
there is a line. He's just like, and I think he might be ad-libbing. He's just talking and talking and talking, just like in his little car.
Yeah.
And there's one part where he says, "The sexes are equal when their erogenous zones are blown sky high." And I was like, who writes that? What does that even mean? Like it just what I had to rewind and listen to it again, and I was like, he really said that. What does that mean?
I caught that too. I don't know what it means, but go
I don't
ahead.
even know
Yeah.
why you would say that. Like, okay, so I get it. You're blowing people up, like you're running people over, and the city's getting destroyed. But like, what? Like, it was just a weird, out of place moment where I didn't understand what they were.
Can you repeat that again for the fans out there and for
Yeah.
me? Can you repeat that again?
The sexes are equal with their erogenous zones blown sky high.
Sexes are equal with
That's
their
pretty bad.
erogenous
Okay.
zones.
All right. All right. Okay, DeVito. All right.
He thinks about sex a lot as the Penguin.
Shoot, man, I think he got me beat. That's pretty bad. So, okay, nice job. My worst line comes from an unsuspected character who nobody really paid attention to, and his name is Chip Shrek.
Good old Chip.
Chip Shrek, who was the son of Max Shrek. It happened in the very beginning, and it was when the henchmen they wanted to hire up, and the mayor goes, "Take me." He goes, "No, we want Shrek." And Max Shrek and his son Chip Shrek steps in, and this is how he says it. This is what he says. He says, "You'll have to go through me, Dad. Go save yourself." And that was it. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I rewound it to make sure if he said it like that. And he said it just like that. He said, "Dad, go save yourself." And I thought, nope, that's it. That's it. Hands down, the worst line. Worst
Dad,
line
go
in
save
the
yourself.
movie for me. Sorry, Chip. I'm sure. this is
Chip's
really
bad. Like, and I don't know if that was like unintentional comedy, where like he's kind of a beefcake, and so maybe like he's just a dumb jock kind of son. But I mean, he's bad. Like, he's the worst of this movie. He's just,
Yeah, Chip. Sorry, Chip. Not a good line for you, man.
no,
I do have one more. It's just kind of like just an extra side one. And it came from Batman. And I hate this, but it came from Batman. And it was when him and Catwoman were fighting. It was like right before she pulled his ears and like kneed him. He goes, "Eat floor." And he goes,
fiber.
"High fiber." I thought, oh, Batman, that was not needed. Let's cut that line out. Why don't we cut that line out and bring you back in for some more fighting scenes? But that line was pretty bad for me. So
I forgave that line because it follows her saying that she's hungry. And so she says she's hungry, then she kicks him, and then he says, "Eat floor." It's just a witty comeback while you're fighting somebody. Don't you like battle rap when you fight people? Come on.
Eat floor, high fiber. Oh, come on, Batman, you're better than that.
And
This is why I didn't like this. Whatever.
He got in the Batmobile afterwards. It's like, God, why did it say that?
It's like, oh, Batman,
God, it's so
idiot.
stupid, Batman.
You corn dog.
So to follow that scene, he straight lets the princess fall, the ice princess. He doesn't even try to save her. I mean, how many times do you see Batman jump up a roof, grab some chick, shoot it, back up a grappling hook, and save her? He just like, oh, looks over the edge. There she goes. Like, can't do anything.
That's right. Yeah. I mean,
come on.
She was covered in bats, right? So I don't know, but you're right. She usually saves people when they're falling.
Again, he's like DGAF in this movie. He's just like, you get a bomb and you fall off a cliff. Sorry, I just weird chick I gotta fight with. I
Was
like.
the Ice Princess really worth saving, though?
she
I'm
had
just saying.
she had one job and she did it so poorly she had to do it twice. They lit the tree a second time.
But kudos to the Ice Princess, because on her way down, the tree got lit as she fell on the box. So she did her job. I mean, if I were to go out one day, I would want to go out doing what I love, and she loved turning on that Christmas tree.
She did.
So
She got it right the second time, so good for her.
she did, yeah.
She's the real MVP of this movie. The tree lighting ceremony.
Yep, there you go. So, okay, moving forward.
They destroy the Batmobile. Heartbroken, but also cool. I like the escape hatch thingy he did.
The torpedo mobile or something like that.
Did they call it that?
I called it that because
it gave us the Batboat. It gave us a reason for them to have another vehicle in the movie.
I didn't need the Batboat. I just want the Batmobile, man. I don't need anything in water.
Yeah, he just gets his vehicles destroyed pretty easily. The Batwing gets destroyed with a pistol in Batman, and then he allows. This one he self-destructs it himself, but
Batman. He's not only a superhero, but he's a good mechanic. If you notice that he's working on his cars,
his own car. You would literally have to stop fighting crime, and you're like, "This is going to take me 3 weeks to fix this fucking car." Sorry, man.
Yeah. So we're good, Batman. Since we're kind of nearing toward the end, we get to Penguin's his plan, his diabolical plan, where he's writing all these names on there, and you don't know what he's writing, and you figure out what he's writing is he's writing all the first sons, the firstborns in Gotham City, because here gets what's really dark, everyone. He wants to straight up murder all of Gotham's firstborn because he wants to get revenge, or he wants to kind of satisfy his revenge because of what his parents did. Mm-hmm. And then you start seeing them kind of gathering the kids and putting them in the cages, which I thought, oh my gosh, this is awful. Did you notice? So going back to the ball, it was a masquerade ball, and the only people who weren't wearing masks were Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne.
Who always wear masks.
Who always wear masks. Yeah. I thought that was ironic. So, yeah. Wear your mask.
Right. Wear your fucking mask, Batman. That actually does seem like it was intentional. I didn't even really catch that. I obviously assume that they're not wearing masks because they're the stars of the movie, and you're you want them, but it actually makes more sense that they have these conversations throughout the movie about having to wear masks and feeling like you can't be yourself. And
but yeah, they weren't wearing masks, and I just thought that was kind of ironic and kind of cool. I really like that scene when they figure out who each one is, right? Because they deliver that same mistletoe dialogue, right? And they really realize, holy crap, you're Batman and I'm your Catwoman. I just thought it was great. Fantastic scene. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and she has that innocent line of, does this mean we have to start fighting now?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's again, really great.
That's some of the best parts of the movie is their interaction as Bruce and Selena.
Yeah. The penguins, I kind of want to talk about the penguins and the big penguins, the little penguins, the medium-sized penguins, the penguins with the rockets, the penguins that waddle, the penguins that were fake, the penguins that were just real.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand he's the penguin. I understand you got to suspend belief. But there's something about the penguins marching that just kind of took me out of the movie. I don't know why. Okay. It wasn't a bad scene. I don't think it was awful. Just to me, just seeing all these penguins with rockets waddle up and just kind of okay, well, got penguins waddling, right? So.
Yeah, much cooler when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's also funny that they had little targets that go over their eyes. Are they targeting? Are they the ones firing? Are they actually aiming the rockets? I would assume that they're strapped to their backs, and once they get close, they go to the target. But
I don't know.
I love it. It's adorable and cute and diabolical in the most sweet way. And I guess, look, what are you gonna do? At that point, what's the penguin gonna do? He can't overpower Batman. He has to outsmart Batman, and he has to get help and use all his tools at his advantage. And he had lots of penguins.
Right. But then the way Batman kind of defeats all the penguins was he jams their signal. He jams their frequency.
There's a lot of frequency jamming in this.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. So I'm like, so everybody's just jamming frequencies. Is he just typing jamming frequency like in Mission Impossible and it happens? Right? I mean, this is jam
There's
frequency.
There's a bat button in the Batcave. You just jam frequencies all day long.
So I just thought that was kind of like, oh, that's all he did. And, you know, he just jammed their frequency.
He not only jammed it, but he reprogrammed them to go back to attack the lair.
Yeah.
Again, trying to murder people. I mean, he's just like savage in this. Batman doesn't kill
murdering
people.
people with penguins. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but he's still murdering the bad guys. Like, he's decaf. He just, whatever. Like, you're in my way.
But see, I'm because I'm not a true like comic book fan. I never realized that, you know, I never really cared that Batman didn't kill anybody. I know there's true fans out there who don't like it, and that's fine. You know, matter of respect to people who read the comic books and are true diehard fans of Batman. But you know, someone who's never read the comics, I'm okay with him killing. I'm okay. He's a superhero. Most superheroes, he's not even a superhero. He doesn't have any superpowers. What is he gonna do? You know, just run all the time? He's got to defend himself. Let him kill some people, man. Shoot.
There's a great line in a bad movie, The Justice League, where the Flash goes, "What's your superpower?" to Bruce Wayne, and he says, "I'm rich."
Gosh.
That's I mean, good line. It's true. It's, you know, absolutely true. He doesn't. So I've never had any issues one way or the other. It's just one of those things. Like, some people are like, "Oh, it's Batman. He doesn't kill anybody," and you're like, yeah, but he, I mean, pretty much ruins their lives by, you know, breaking every bone in their body and, you know.
Yeah.
So we draw the line, and he killed somebody. It didn't really matter. I think this is a good Batman movie, regardless of Burton, regardless of, you know, Christmas or you know, the Penguin and being too much. This is a good Batman movie, partly because Michael Keaton's an amazing Batman, but also because there's just good characters and a fairly good story. Like, I think it's a good story from start to finish. Would I like more Batman like you did? Absolutely. But it doesn't diminish, I think, what to me is a good Batman movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on that one. Let's get to the finale. Can we get to the finale?
Let's do it.
Where Selina Kyle, she's facing Max Shrek. She's got him, and I think Penguin's done already, right? I think he's dead. I don't know. And you got Batman, and Batman's trying to calm her down. Be like, hey, you don't have to kill him, right? We're going to talk about this scene, and this is the scene where you see Batman pull his mask off. But before he pulls his mask off, you see that he's no longer wearing black eye makeup. Right?
Good catch.
So you see his mask and his eyes, and you see the skin color, and then he takes it off and he rips it off, and it just took me out of it.
Really?
Yeah, it did, because
I mean, I understand that's a flaw, but
it kind of took me out of it. I did not want him ripping his mask off, and let alone, I didn't want to see the skin color. You know, it was, I don't know what they were thinking. It's like, dude, he wears eye makeup, but now you're showing him without eye makeup, and then he rips his mask off, and you've got just regular Bruce Wayne trying to calm Selina Kyle, and it took me out, man. It took me out of the scene. So I can't believe you didn't catch that.
I now know, and I when you pointed out, I'm like, oh my God, you're right. That's actually a mistake, but that's one of those mistakes that, like, you probably the second key grip on the, you know, shoot that day, and you're like, actually, like, Batman, you know, is wearing black, Tim, like, you probably should. And he's like, shut the fuck up, know your place. I'm the director. Michael doesn't want to wear the makeup.
But
it's not that big of a deal.
It's a big deal, man. It's a big deal because it takes
the bat
you
makeup
out.
for. It doesn't take you out.
It took me out.
The concept is he wants to show that he's Bruce Wayne, so he has to, you know.
It took me out because 1 minute before he had his makeup on, it was all dark and black. And then 30 seconds later, he no longer has the makeup, and then he's taking his mask off. I'm sorry, man. It just took me out. You got penguins and you got a mask, you know, and no makeup, and it's just kind of like all over the place. And I wasn't happy in that moment.
It doesn't take away from that scene being, again, good. Like, he's trying to save her. He's trying to get her to stop before she does something that she's going to regret later. And I know, I dig it. I dig that she can't come to grips with, being the person that he thinks she could be.
Yeah. I mean, that finale wasn't even about Batman. That finale was not about Batman. That finale was about Catwoman and Max and her, trying to cope with what she was going to do. Was she going to kill him or let him live? And unfortunately, she couldn't hold back because she was so tortured by this guy and what she did to him. And, she decided to go ahead and kiss him with the taser, and that was it. And so it wasn't even about Batman. That whole finale, I didn't think it was about Batman. It was all about Catwoman. So
yeah, and him trying to save her in the sense of like, from going bad.
Yeah,
truly going bad. I actually think it's a pretty savage ending, all in all. Like the Penguin dies, Catwoman kills Shrek, Batman reveals himself. You should get the great walk-in line of like, Bruce Wayne, why are you wearing a Batman costume? Like, just
an idiot.
Such an idiot. And even at the end of your demise, you're still just a bumbling idiot. But the only thing that I didn't like was the pallbearers, the penguin pallbearers that dragged the penguin into the water. Like, were those people in costume? Were those like? Yeah, they were. There were little people in costumes. And you can tell right away by their feet and stuff. So there were little people in costumes, and it was just kind of like just drag them away and just kind of scooting them into the ocean. It was random. Like, just leave him there to die. He didn't need to be dragged out to the water.
Yeah, those were some big ass penguins.
Yeah,
I mean, if real penguins got that big, it'd be scary.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even emperor penguins, which I think are the biggest ones, are not that big. So
look at you with your knowledge of penguins. Good for you, man.
Yeah, I got kids. We watch a lot of penguin stuff. Or we did. Yeah.
There you go. Cool. All right.
That's I think that's it. I mean, it's there is an actual ending, and I, again, appreciate this, and I almost made it my background. But at the end of the first movie, you get the shot of Batman on the roof with the bat signal. This time, you get Bruce Wayne driving around, thinks he sees Selina. He's out with Alfred, does the Merry Christmas, to all goodwill to men and women.
And women, yeah.
Then you get the pan over Gotham City again, and you get Catwoman, who rises up when the bat signal goes on. I like it. This brings us to another fun fact. 17, 18, I don't know where we're on now.
No, I think we're on 6.
That shot cost them $250,000. They did it solely because they wanted more Catwoman. They wanted Catwoman in the sequel, and they wanted to do a spinoff.
So was it put in post-production?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Weeks before the movie came out, they just went back and reshot it, and so much so that that's not even Michelle Pfeiffer in that costume.
That's not.
They couldn't get her.
Okay.
But they went back and shot that specifically.
You don't see her face, right? So
no, you just see her rise up from like perching, and she's looking at it. But great shot. I love the end of that. That you see her character lived, and she had one more life left. So
yeah. I mean, it could be So it kind of teases that she's still alive, anything can happen. And if they were teasing a sequel or a Catwoman movie, then they sure got it right with
Halle Berry.
Yeah.
I wish that I could have seen or talked to Burton about what he wanted to do for a third one.
Maybe we'll get it still. Maybe. I would love Michael Keaton to return. And
he is returning. He will be returning in the Flash movie as this Batman.
Cool.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take whatever Michael Keaton gives me, man. He's the best. Michael Keaton, you're the best. Thank you for being Batman. Thank you for fulfilling my childhood, man.
FYC certified Michael Keaton up there with Rick Moranis and there. We'll have a Mount Rushmore of FYC.
Yeah. Brandon Routh too. Brandon Routh is up. We like Brandon Routh a lot.
We do like Brandon Routh as well. So whether he makes the Mount, I don't know, but
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does. Todd makes the Mount.
This movie doesn't make your Mount Rushmore for films, so I think that is my segue into what are you going to score this go round.
All right.
This time we decided we were going to keep it Christmas themed, and since there's that beautiful line that we opened our show with, and we've had this debate and we've Google checked this, so if we said it wrong, I'm sorry, but we're going to go by how many mistletoes. We're going to get mistletoes. That is what we think the plural is for mistletoe.
Yeah.
This gets hard because we have a track record, right? And we've scored 10 movies so far. This is our 11th episode.
Right.
And so in giving something like a lower or higher score than other films, I find myself almost wanting to go back and change other scores so that I can justify a new score that I'm going to give. But I am going to give this 4.5 mistletoes. I love this movie. I love it for the characters. I love it for how ballsy it is with what Warner's wanted and what Tim Burton did. I love what they added from the first movie that I felt was missing, and I mean, it's near perfect for me. I watched it again. I watch it every couple of years, and it still just hits.
4.5 mistletoes.
I couldn't quite give it the 5. I
for
wanted to.
Batman Returns.
Yep. Love this movie.
Smokes.
Better than the first.
That is big, man. That is huge. Okay. All right.
Biggest
Okay.
batarang you've ever seen there, buddy.
Wow. Okay. Hey. Okay. All right. My turn. Here we go. All right. Batman Returns. Now, again, I loved the 1989 original version, and I saw it again. It's still good. It's not great. It's still good. Rewatching this, I don't think this is a bad movie at all. I like the cast. I like the characters. I love the fact that you don't have to watch the first one to get this one. This is kind of, even though it's a sequel, they only really reference one Vicky Vale, maybe one other thing in this movie. So you can watch this movie without even having to watch the first one, and you would totally get it and understand it. So I really like that part. My problem with this movie was there were too many characters. There were too many villains. You got Catwoman, you got Penguin, you got Batman, right? And so you're trying to tell these stories, which I think the movie tells the story really well. However, I think the story, for me, gets diluted when you have all these different characters and you're trying to understand where one's coming from. You don't even know if one character is even bad. You just know that Catwoman is, she's doing her thing and she's good and she's bad and she's just kind of there. So for me, that part was having all these villains out there. It just didn't, I didn't like that. I like my superhero and my main villain and tell me a good story. It is a better polished movie. It's more polished than the first one. It looks better, much better than the first movie. I liked the suit. His suit only changed a little bit on his stomach. The first one originally had the 6-pack going. Mm-hmm. This one has more of a metal plate or kind of a plate thing going. So with that being said, oh my gosh, I'm going to give this movie a 3 mistletoes. Just I originally was thinking 2.5, but it's done well in a sense where the stories are told pretty good, but for me there's just too much going on, too many villains. But I liked it. I liked Tim Burton. I love the score. Without Danny Elfman's score, this movie, I don't know if it would be any good. That's just me. So 3 deadly mistletoes. So
I like it. That's solid. And I hear your points. And I 100% agree about Danny Elfman. I don't know again where you would be without that theme. That theme is everything. And he does it's a beautiful score in this movie.
It's great.
I like to hear your comment about what you would cut. Where you say there's too much, what do you get rid of? I think that you don't have much of a movie if it's just the Penguin against Batman. I don't think that you can have Catwoman only, and so what do you cut out? Max Schreck? That's the catalyst for Catwoman.
So I get it. I hear your points. I get it. I understand where you're coming from. And I also like the fact that this is a Christmas movie. So it's cool. It's a Christmas movie. So go watch it. It's a real Christmas movie. It's not just a superhero movie.
Speaking of Christmas movies, we're going to make it a clean dozen by doing another one in this month of December. And we're going to also stay away from the classics. So I'm super happy you suggested this one. And I'm very happy to tease that we will be doing Bill Murray's classic Scrooged.
So good.
Amazing film. And I'm very much looking forward to this because I just recently kind of rediscovered it. Again, doing that Christmas movie bracket made me think outside the box and find some that you don't normally think about. And this is one where kind of dark, very comedic, and Bill Murray, like at the height of Bill Murray, like he was just, top of the game, Ghostbusters fame at this point. And I'm looking forward to this.
Fantastic. I can't wait.
But yeah, that does it for episode 11. Thanks for tuning in to FYC Film Review. I've been your host, Gagne, along with my partner in crime,
Rinaldo.
Rinaldo. Rinaldo is out on Batman Returns. Let us know what you think. How and where does this rank on your Batman movies? Who's your favorite Batman? Watch Batman Returns. Thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you next time.
Take care, everyone. See you later.
Bye.